Hey everyone, welcome back my channel, Wisdom Pillars. Have you ever wondered whether kindness could be the source of the troubles in your life? We are often taught that kindness is the key to unlocking the doors of happiness and success, the thread that connects people. But what happens when that kindness is not used wisely, when kindness becomes an invisible burden? Can it still bring the joy and peace we have always believed in? In Stoic philosophy, kindness is not just a simple action but an art that requires subtlety and balance. It demands that we understand the nature of ourselves and the world around us. An unrestrained, uncontrolled kindness can lead to unforeseen consequences, eroding our self-control and values. This is when kindness becomes a double-edged sword, causing deeper wounds than we might imagine. Today's video will take you on a journey to explore 4 ways in which kindness, if not practiced with awareness, can silently destroy your life through the lens of Stoic philosophy. We will reevaluate kindness, not just as a virtuous quality, but as a power that needs to be managed with care. Let's explore how to transform kindness into a true strength rather than allowing it to become a burden on your shoulders and heart. As usual, I have a small challenge for you. Watch the video until the end. If you are truly serious about practicing kindness wisely, leave a comment saying I accept the challenge or simply accept the challenge to train your perseverance. And let's begin with the first part of today's video. Number 1, the trap of excessive kindness. Kindness is a noble virtue that we are always encouraged to cultivate. However, when kindness becomes excessive, it can turn into a dangerous trap, pushing us into difficult situations and even destroying our own lives. Stoic philosophy has pointed out that any virtue, no matter how admirable, can be harmful if not practiced with care and moderation. So what is excessive kindness? It's when we devote too much time and energy to helping others, even when it comes at the expense of ourselves. Imagine a person who is always ready to help, doing everything for others, but who doesn't know how to say no. This person may feel like they are doing the right thing, but in reality, they are sacrificing their health, time, and personal happiness. Excessive kindness not only weakens our ability to protect ourselves, but also leads to mental exhaustion, depletion of energy, and ultimately, resentment. Excessive kindness can lead times. Have you helped someone only to realize that they weren't grateful and just kept asking for more? This doesn't only happen in personal life but also at work and in society. When we are too lenient, others might take our kindness for granted and no longer respect or appreciate our help. This can lead to an endless cycle where kindness becomes a burden and the relationship turns into exploitation. Think of a mother who always sacrifices everything for her children, never asking for anything in return. Gradually, the children stop recognizing what their mother has done and even begin to see it as something they are entitled to. The mother's kindness, instead of being appreciated, becomes a trap that causes her to lose balance in her life, exhausting her both physically and mentally. Or think of David, a company employee who is always willing to help colleagues working overtime without complaint. Gradually, David becomes the one who bears all the difficult tasks. While others comfortably pass on their responsibilities, his kindness not only tires him out but also diminishes the respect his colleagues have for him. In Stoic philosophy, we are taught that kindness should not harm ourselves. This doesn't mean we should become selfish, but rather that we must know how to protect ourselves from situations that could harm our mental and physical well-being. Likewise, Jesus in his teachings did not encourage blind kindness. He taught about loving enemies and forgiveness, but also emphasized the importance of knowing right from wrong and setting boundaries. In Matthew, Jesus says, "Be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves." This teaching advises us to be cautious and to consider carefully before showing kindness so that it is not exploited or leads to negative consequences. So how do we escape the trap of excessive kindness? The answer lies in learning to ask ourselves difficult questions. Who is my kindness serving? Am I sacrificing too much without receiving anything in return? When we start asking these questions, we will see that knowing how to say no is an important part of living a balanced and happy life. We need to learn how to practice kindness in a controlled way. This means knowing when to help and when to step back. Epictetus, A famous Stoic philosopher said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Therefore, instead of being swept up in helping others blindly, we need to learn to keep our minds steady, understand our limits, and not let kindness become a burden. Ultimately, kindness must be practiced consciously and mindfully. Remember, kindness only truly has value when it doesn't destroy us to live according to Stoic principles. We need to know how to protect our soul, body, and time. Kindness should not be a burden but an act of deliberate and wise choice. Only then can we truly help others without losing ourselves. Number 2. The art of giving. The art of giving. Without expectation in a world driven by calculations where every action seems measured by its exchange value, the art of giving without expecting anything in return emerges as a noble yet challenging act. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the value of self-control, impartiality, and the ability to face life without being swayed by emotions or personal gain. Practicing kindness without expecting anything in return is a manifestation of spiritual and moral maturity that every true Stoic should aspire to. The question is, why should we give without expecting anything in return? Because it is our expectation of receiving something that causes suffering and disappointment. When we give with the hope of receiving something in return, we place ourselves in a vulnerable position. Disappointment, feelings of betrayal, or being unappreciated all stem from expecting too much from others in reality. Many people feel that if they invest effort, time, and resources to help others, they deserve something in return. But when they don't get what they expect, they become bitter and disillusioned. This is the difference between true kindness and conditional kindness. Conditional kindness is when we give with the expectation of receiving something back. This is not giving, it's a transaction. True kindness. Unconditional kindness is when we give without expecting anything, not even gratitude. Jesus exemplified the art of giving without expecting anything in return when he washed the feet of his disciples. He did not expect anything in return. He simply did it out of unconditional love. Even though he knew some would betray him, he still gave love and care without demanding anything. His love was not a transaction, it was a gift. This is a profound lesson for all of us about the value of unconditional kindness. Stoic philosophy also emphasizes that the goal of life is not to accumulate material wealth or fame, but to achieve inner tranquility and a free soul. When we learn to give, without expecting anything in return, we free ourselves from societal pressures and constraints. We become free in our souls when we expect nothing. We are not controlled by desires or the fear of rejection. We live by our true values, unaffected by how others treat us. Think about a time when you helped someone without expecting anything in return. How did you feel? Was it a sense of relief, peace, and indescribable happiness? This doesn't mean we should be indifferent to others' reactions, but the freedom and tranquility in giving will bring us peace. Unaffected by external factors, unconditional kindness not only benefits the giver but also inspires others in daily life. There are countless examples of people practicing kindness without expecting anything in return. Charitable activists, organ donors to strangers, or even those who simply smile and help others unconditionally are living proof of the power of unconditional kindness. These actions not only improve the lives of those who receive help, but also spread positive energy, creating a ripple effect of positivity in society. We often fall into the trap of expectations without realizing it. When you give with the hope of receiving, you put yourself in a vulnerable position. A famous saying emphasizes, do everything with the consciousness that you expect nothing, fear no loss, and cling to nothing. This means we should give freely without attaching ourselves to expectations, because expectations only increase dissatisfaction and disappointment when unmet. For example, in friendships or family relationships, helping others and then expecting gratitude or similar reciprocity can lead to negative emotions if it doesn't happen. Expectations make relationships heavy and tense, even potentially breaking them. In contrast, if you give with genuine love without expectations, relationships will strengthen and you will feel free and light. So how can we practice the art of giving without expecting? First, we need to understand ourselves and be aware of our expectations. We can ask ourselves, why am I doing this? What do I expect from others? When we recognize these expectations, we can focus on giving as an act of compassion rather than a transaction. Remember, giving without expecting is not about giving up. It's about liberation. It's how we free ourselves from the bonds of expectation and find joy in doing good without needing recognition or reward. In summary, giving without expectation is not only an art, but also a way of living that frees us from the burdens of expectation. In Stoic philosophy, this practice helps us control our emotions, maintain our freedom, and keep peace within our souls. In the teachings of Jesus, it is an expression of genuine, unconditional love, a selfless and noble way of life. When we give without expecting anything in return, we are living true to our nature, doing good without the need for recognition. This brings us inner peace and true freedom, because we are not bound by expectations or influenced by negative emotions like a candle lighting up the darkness. Sincere kindness illuminates and warms not only the recipient but also ourselves. Let the art of giving without expectation be your guiding principle in the heart, and brings true peace. Share your thoughts on applying Stoic principles in daily life. Have you ever experienced the joy of giving without expecting anything in return? How has it changed your perspective on kindness? Your story will be a source of inspiration and insight for us all to reflect and learn. Leave a comment below and join the conversation. Number 3. The necessity. The necessity of setting boundaries, How can you maintain balance in life without setting necessary boundaries? This is a question that many of us need to ask ourselves in modern life. Establishing boundaries is not just a necessary act, but also an art from the perspective of Stoic philosophy. Setting boundaries is an essential part of protecting personal peace and happiness, helping us live a meaningful and right IU's life. The need to set boundaries is not only about protecting our time and energy, but also about safeguarding our self-worth. In today's world, we are often swept up in the demands of work, family, friends, and society without clear boundaries. We can easily become exhausted and lose our sense of direction. Have you ever felt that you were being pulled in too many different directions, leaving no time for yourself? That's a clear sign that you need to set boundaries. For example, in daily life, consistently working overtime and being unable to refuse after hours requests is a sign of a lack of boundaries. This not only affects your mental and physical health, but also weakens your personal and family relationships. How many times have you sacrificed your own time to complete someone else's work, simply because you couldn't say no? This is a typical example of why setting boundaries is essential to protect personal interests and happiness. In Stoic philosophy, setting boundaries also means protecting your mind from negative influences. If you worry about things beyond your control, it causes you to lose control over what you can manage. Boundaries are not just about physical or time-based protection, but also about controlling your thoughts and emotions, so you are not swayed by things beyond your reach. A prominent example of setting boundaries to protect balance and success in life is Oprah Winfrey. One of the most renowned figures in global media, Oprah has shared that throughout her career, she had to learn how to say no to protect her time and energy. Early in her career, Oprah often felt pressured to please everyone and accept every invitation, from interviews to charity events. However, she soon realized that lacking clear boundaries led to burnout and losing control over her personal life. She once said, "You cannot say yes to everything without saying no to something else." Oprah decided to change, starting to set clear boundaries in her life. She learned to prioritize what was most important, such as health, mental peace, and personal time. This not only helped Oprah maintain energy and creativity in her work, but also protected her mental and physical health. She has shared that knowing how to say no was one of the key factors in maintaining balance and success throughout her long career. Oprah also understood that not everyone will understand or accept the boundaries you set, but that doesn't mean you should abandon them. She once turned down collaboration offers from major brands because she didn't want to compromise her personal values and long-term goals for immediate success. Oprah demonstrated that setting boundaries not only helps you protect yourself, but also builds a sustainable and meaningful career. Oprah Winfrey is indeed a living testament to the importance of setting boundaries in life and work. She has shown us that success doesn't just come from working hard or saying yes to every opportunity, but also from the ability to say no when necessary, to protect your self-worth, health, and balance in life. What can you learn from these famous figures to set the necessary boundaries in your own life? Boundaries are an expression of self-control. When we know how to set boundaries, we not only protect ourselves from exhaustion and pressure, but also maintain balance in life, keeping our minds peaceful and our direction clear. This applies not just to work but to all aspects of life, from relationships to mental and physical well-being. So how do you effectively establish boundaries? First, you need to ask yourself questions like, what are my values? What is most important to me? What am I willing to sacrifice, and what is non-negotiable? When you have clear answers, setting boundaries becomes easier. You will know how to say no confidently and without guilt. This not only helps protect you, but also earns respect from others in the high-pressure, high-expectation modern world. Setting boundaries is not just necessary, it is an act of self-love. Kindness and compassion don't mean you have to sacrifice yourself. On the contrary, true kindness is knowing how to love and protect yourself before helping others. This is not only a foundation of Stoic philosophy, but also a profound lesson from the life Jesus. Ultimately, setting boundaries is a way to maintain balance and happiness in life. It is a manifestation of inner strength, self-control, and self-love. When you know how to protect your boundaries, you not only live a more meaningful life, but also inspire others to do the same. Are you ready to set boundaries for your life? If you are, leave a comment saying set boundaries to show your determination to change. Let's discuss how we can apply Stoic philosophy to build a better life. Remember, in every challenge there is an opportunity for those who know how to seize it. Number 4, the danger of being seen. The danger of being seen as too available. Have you ever felt that your willingness to help has led others to see you as an inexhaustible resource? Stoic philosophy warns us of the danger of becoming too accommodating a situation we might unintentionally find ourselves in when we fail to set boundaries. When generosity exceeds necessary limits, it not only diminishes our value but also causes others to undervalue the kindness and sincerity we offer. This issue is not just about self-esteem, it's also about how we maintain respect and balance in our relationships. The danger of being too accommodating lies in our tendency to always be available and present for every request, big or small, without carefully considering the long-term consequences. When we always say yes without knowing how to say no, we inadvertently send a message that we have no inherent value and that our time and energy are limitless. This not only harms ourselves, but also affects how others perceive us. Have you ever wondered if your accommodating nature is causing others to lose respect for you? Respect yourself and others will respect you. This saying emphasizes that respect for others begins with how we respect and value ourselves. When we fail to set boundaries, we inadvertently create conditions for others to take advantage of our kindness, leading to imbalanced relationships and a sense of exploitation. Imagine you're always ready to help colleagues at work. You're the first to volunteer to stay late to finish tasks, assist others in their struggles, and never refuse any request initially. This might make you liked and respected, but over time, if you don't know how to set boundaries, you'll notice that others begin to take your help for granted. They will appreciate your contributions less and might even start exploiting your accommodating nature to shirk their responsibilities. Jesus Christ, a symbol of mercy and self-sacrifice, also exemplifies how being too accommodating can lead to the risk of being taken advantage of. He devoted his life to helping and saving humanity, yet he also faced betrayal and misunderstanding from those he loved. Jesus' accommodating nature and unconditional love, while stemming from pure love, also show that even the best of people can be exploited if they're not cautious about setting boundaries. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminded us that while kindness is a valuable trait, we would not allow it to become a tool for others to exploit. We need to know when to say no and when to conserve our energy for ourselves. Another practical example is in personal relationships such as friendships or marriage. Have you ever wondered if your accommodating nature is causing the other person to see you as an unconditional giver? If we are always the ones accepting every request without any resistance, we will gradually lose our standing in that relationship. The other person may no longer respect our opinions or desires, and we will feel undervalued and unappreciated. In summary, being accommodating needs to be practiced consciously and mindfully. We need to ask ourselves, is my kindness and willingness harming me? Do others truly appreciate my help? Or do they just take it for granted? Only when we start asking these questions and act based on self-awareness can we avoid the trap of being too accommodating. Don't let your kindness and willingness become a burden. Learn how to protect yourself. Set boundaries and respect yourself. When we do this, we not only protect our values, but also create healthier and more balanced relationships where kindness is reciprocated and genuinely appreciated. When we talk about kindness,